Not do. What God cannot do,
does not exist.
what God cannot do.
Does not exist.
So, I don't even know where to start. I have so many testimonies. God has been so faithful. God has been awesome to me and my family. I can't thank him enough. But I just want to share this particular testimony. It concerns my sister-in-law. I just use the in-law because of the relationship, but truly she's like my blood sister. She's a younger sister to me. So on the 29th day of March, she had a goiter surgery. Before then, I had told my husband that we have to pray concerning this. I told him that we're going to fast. My husband has never fasted in his life. He agreed with me, and we fasted. They had the surgery, and we're told that it was successful. We came back into the country. We went and visited her, and she was fine. Then, on the 10th day of May, around 5 o'clock, my husband's phone was beeping, and the younger sister now said, crisis, that my sister-in-law had been rushed to the hospital, that she was losing her breath, and her oxygen level, when they went to the first hospital, had dropped to 75. Then the hospital did not know how to handle her case. Then they had to drive to this other hospital, one of the best hospitals in Abuja. They drove there, and they found that at the time, they were even trying to do the preliminaries, like deposit money, this, that. She has lost consciousness because her oxygen level has dropped to 20. So instead of like money, they were now summoning all the consultants. They said within 5 minutes that 7 consultants had appeared. And the one had seen her a day before. She said something just moved her to go to the hospital. It wasn't the hospital where she had her surgery. So she went there. The man said, I saw this lady just yesterday. I saw her. Then he said, no, this is not anything, that they have to go back to the theater. They went to the theater, opened up, a lot of complication. They didn't know what to do. So they were just trying to save life. At the end of the day, she was in ICU. Within that period, they did not allow us to see her. So about the 3rd day was when she came out. We went to see her. We were all devastated. All the gadgets, everything you can think of was, stuck to her. So we went home. It was 14th of May. I remember I kind of overslept. What also woke me up was the beeping of NSPPD, that's sharing and all that. I now opened my phone. I was looking at my phone. I turned to NSPP. I just said, God, all this thing was just going on in my mind. I said, Father, Lord, my problem now is this. I don't even know where to begin. We're so worried because something similar had happened before to the older one in the U.S., and we lost her. So it was a big thing for the family. We didn't know what to do. Everybody was praying. And I said, God, usually during testimony time, people will say, I asked God to put it in the mouth of your servant, and he said it. In my mind, I was just saying, how about if I say this, and Papa does not mention my case? I know Papa is like more than connected to God, like more than NEPA cable. But I was like worried, and I was afraid, and I was just wondering what will happen. And I said, God, if he says it, I will take it to the hospital. I'll play it for her. God, I'm going to testify. I was just saying all the things I never uttered anything, word out. Everything was just going on in my mind. I said, should I now say it or should I not say it? The next thing I heard was, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. What am I seeing? What am I seeing? A complicated goiter surgery. I beg. Media, people should play this, Let it be reversed. Let it be reversed. I was like, is this for real? They say, a Roy that sees me. This one, a Roy that is like going inside my mind. How? I was jumping. I couldn't just believe it. I said, is it how people feel when they said my word, Papa spoke my word, my word was mentioned. I was just jumping. I didn't even know I could jump as high as I did. It wasn't enough for me. I stayed rolling on the floor. Then I got ready after the prayers. I went to the hospital. I told her, before that, my son-in-law in UK, she said, hey, Papa mentioned the next case. My Papa mentioned her case. I now went to the hospital. I played it for her. I said, I sent it to the family platform. And I said, CEO, I'm going to Lagos. That was a Tuesday. I'm going to Lagos on Wednesday. When I come back, I want to give this testimony on Sunday. Make sure you leave this hospital before that Sunday. So on our way back from Lagos, my husband said we should pass through the hospital. That was on a Friday. I went there. She was still like there, and she could only sip watery something on pap. That was the only thing she could just sip. I said, okay, God, I still trust you. That was Friday. I came to church Sunday. So I did not share my testimony because of the way I saw her. And I got home Sunday evening, that same Sunday evening. I was going through the family platform. I now saw a post from my younger one. He said, how my sister-in-law, the son was so excited when she came back to hospital from hospital on Saturday. My husband said, is she back? I was like, is she back? I called, they said she was back. Hey, came back that Saturday, and I did not know, and nobody knew. So the next day, being Monday, I went to her house. The person who was just sipping pap was eating ube noka. Corn and pear. And I was like, is this you? She was all over the place. I found that she still had that, whatever they put here after this. The doctor who did the first surgery said he did not even know what happened. That this is the first time he was having such a case of complication, because they said the goiter, the vocal cord was paralyzed. So I was happy because she was still writing. She couldn't really talk unless she puts that thing so that I could hear her. Then I went back to my workplace, Calabar. Towards the end of June, I was planning her to come back. I said, I'll still give my testimony. Then I was telling God, I said, how am I now going to close this testimony? I will say, okay, you healed her. You healed her. But she has not finished talking. She has not started talking. Then I now said, and I'm now going to close it by saying, God, I trust that you perfect everything that concerns her. The next day, because the doctor said the vocal cord was paralyzed, and that it's about 6 months before we start expecting any kind of change. So, and I said, okay, God, I'm not going to say that. I will just end the testimony by saying you perfect everything that concerns her. The next day, what did I say on the platform? Breaking news. Time for testimony. What God cannot do does not exist. She has recovered her voice. I was like, she has recovered her voice. She could not, somebody who could not talk. And the doctors gave her, they told us 6 months before we can start expecting any change. I could not believe it. I was like, is this for real? Is this for real? And I said, I was even working with trepidation. I said, how about if I call her that? I now called her. They said, wifey, hey, your voice, this voice that we've not heard for a long time. I was so excited. God perfected everything. They had removed the tube. She has recovered her voice. She has recovered everything. And I'm like, God is a God of restoration. What God cannot do does not exist. What God cannot do does not exist. Papa, I don't know what to say. I'm so overwhelmed because for me, the high point was like something I was just thinking in my mind. Papa uttered it. This one is there. More than cable. No, more than NEPA cable. The connection between Papa and God is awesome. If I were to, I don't even know what to say. I'm so excited. I say, Papa, like everyone will say, may the oil on your head never run dry. It will never run dry. Now here we dey. Would they pray? Would they pray? What God cannot do. Whatever God cannot do. Hey, that connection is more than the high voltage. Who else has experienced it?